Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Marna, and I've been with LiveVantage for just over 3 years now. I'm very excited tonight to have Gillian join us tonight and looking forward to hearing her story. So just a little bit about me. As I said, I've been with LiveVantage for just over 3 years. I'm a registered nurse, and I've really loved the journey. I'm combining my medical background with the beautiful natural products that we have here and that you'll learn more about tonight. And I've really loved sharing this with family and friends and other people that I've gotten to know, and therefore getting an extra income stream into our household. It's been a wonderful journey for us. And tonight we're going to focus on Gillian, who's also a mom, she's a wife, and she was an ex-principal. So very keen to know what happened there, how she changed. And I'm going to invite you, Gillian, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about how your journey started, your background, maybe your hobbies or anything that interests you.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome, Marna. It's really lovely to be here this evening. So yes, as Marna mentioned, my background is in education. I taught for years, school principal for several years, until I took leave to have my children. So I've got 2 sons, they're aged 7 and 5 now, and they're my absolute world. But when I was pregnant with my second child, I was introduced to LiveVantage through a really close girlfriend of mine, and it was actually the product Pro Tandem that she introduced to me, and she did that because she knew a little bit of my family history. And in short, we've had some significant losses. I lost a sister after open heart surgery when she was only 21. I've lost my father to cancer when he was 58, and it all happened without warning and on both occasions. So for that reason, as a family, we have always been very proactive with health, and we've been raised to eat the right foods, play sports, exercise, do all the right things. But when this was shared with me and I could see the power of activating the body, that's when I got the big picture. So for me, I've always, been very passionate about looking after myself, and this made sense at the time. So I've been partnered with LiveVantage now for 5 years. It has been an absolute blessing. It was always my intention to go back to teaching after children. I did go back after my first child to do a few days here and there. But for me, I wanted to be home with my children. It was my priority. Family is my highest value. And when I could see that this was providing me that opportunity to stay home with my children, and I could also see how these products were benefiting so many others, I decided that this was more aligned with what my family needs were and what my needs were, and I also enjoyed helping people. So I decided to stay with this profession, and over those years it's become closer to my full time now. So I'm very grateful for that. As a family, we love to get outdoors, go camping, spend our times, traveling and exploring, and having the flexibility to do so has been absolutely valuable. My husband works away in the mines. He does a 7 on, 7 off roster. So with him being away for half of the year at a time, when he is home for his 7 days, we can really make the most of it. So that's just a little bit of my background, how I came into LiveVantage. I'll hand back to you, Marna.
Thank you so much. I always enjoy hearing everyone's stories. And while each of those are so different, it's always sometimes centered around this moment where you've had a little bit of a shift, a little bit of a balance that has changed, which made you realize that there's the potential for something else. So I love that fact that that occurs so many times as we are talking about. So talking about your LiveVantage journey, and we've got incredible products, and you've shared about the Pro Tandem that's been so significant for you and your family. Can you tell us a little bit more about the range of the products, significantly about Pro Tandem because it's so different, the NRF2, and maybe a little bit more about, the science and the background and activation, supplementation, that sort of thing?
Yeah, of course. So for me, it was definitely Protandim NRF2 that caught my attention. So as I mentioned, our family has always been quite proactive with health, and we've always been open to products that are out there. I have always known that when it comes to supplementation, we have to be mindful. If our body is lacking in something and we know that we're lacking in something, then yes, we can top ourselves up with some supplements that are out there if you can find high quality products. However, supplementing is not enough. We know that our bodies can only absorb so much, and if we don't have our bodies working the way they're meant to at that cellular level, then really we just have very expensive urine. So when I was introduced to Protandim NRF2 and the fact that it was doing something in our body that I have not seen anything else do, it really caught my attention. So basically what we're doing is there's a pathway in our cells called NRF2, which is a protein messenger, and it works like a switch. So when our body's bombarded by free radicals from our environment, work, stress, life, things we eat, what we drink, what we put on our body, the pollution, Wi-Fi, radiation, like there's umpteen number of things that are out there bombarding our body at any one time. So when we're overwhelmed with this free radical load, our body kicks in to start producing antioxidants. Our body can do that for itself. That's our survival genes. It's how our body heals and repairs and detoxifies itself. But this pathway, this NRF2 pathway, which is responsible for producing those antioxidants, slows down as we get older. And it also slows down when we get too much bombarding in our life. If there's too much going on, it just can't keep up. So finding a way to turn that back on is key. And it just so happened that scientists in a lab made a discovery of 5 herbs that work together in a synergistic effect that turned on this NRF2 pathway. And it was like that switch, it flicked it on. And in turn, it's now reducing that oxidative stress in the body, which is shown to do so by as much as 40% after 30 days in a US study. So that study, again, caught the attention of the medical industry, which then prompted a lot of independent research. So we had multiple universities reaching out to the company, asking to use the products in studies, purchasing the product from the company in studies. And we've got more than 28 peer-reviewed studies published on PubMed just by searching Protandim. And that really caught my attention. So when I partnered with LifeVantage, I think there are about maybe 16 studies. And every year since, more universities are releasing more studies. And you only have to go on there and search Protandim to see some of these studies and what they are about. One of my favorites is from the American Heart Association. So it was a study that was conducted on the heart, given my family history of heart health and knowing that the American Heart Association had funded this study, had found it to be so therapeutic for the heart that they featured it in their circulation journal. That was a big eye-opener for me. So those studies alone were incredible validation for what we have. Again, there's been so much more that's gone into it. There have also been an extra amount of research that's gone in from the company where they have gone on to create other activators over the years. And, all of them are extremely therapeutic and incredible amounts of research. But for me, it's always been about that Protandim NRF2 and how that flips that switch. And the others now coming along to complement that. It's just leaps and bounds ahead of supplementation. So very powerful.
I love that. And I never get tired of hearing that side of the LifeVantage story, because I think it's so significant and it's what sets LifeVantage apart from so many other companies, that it started with the science and the business side of things happened later. It's so focused and so driven towards the science, and perfect for you because that's the teacher in you coming out explaining.
I love to research. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now, Gillian, of course, a little bit tonight we're talking about the business side of things. Yeah. Can you tell us what was that turning point for you where you started focusing more on the opportunity that this created and that dreams that perhaps you've forgotten about, that little inkling? What changed for you and how did you start focusing more on the business?
Yeah, so it's really interesting because I wasn't looking for a business opportunity to begin with. I thought I would go back to teaching. That had been the plan. And I think, if there's any mums out there that are listening in tonight, and, if you're watching from the group, pop in the comments, you're a mum. And, as mums, we sort of think, oh, yeah, I'll go and have my children, I'll take my maternity leave, and then I'll go back to work and go to my job. And you sort of have in your mind that that's what you will do. But once you are home with your children and you're experiencing that, for me, I could almost instantly realize that I did not want to be back at work at that stage. I wanted to be home to see all of their milestones. I wanted to see them walk for the first time. I wanted to be there for their first words and, all those little things that happen in those first few years, which you will never get back again. And so for me, I wasn't looking for anything else to do, but there are a few things that just aligned. And one of them was that this came into my life. And I believe all things come into your life for the right reasons at the right time. And the time that this came into my life, I was in that mum grind. I wanted to be home with my children, but I needed something extra for me as well. And so when I started sharing this with a few people and seeing how much it was helping them, and then they naturally wanted to share with other people as well, I could see that this is actually starting to pay for my products. And you know what? This is giving us that little bit of extra income. And I was enjoying helping other people, and I could take my kids with me or do it in the nooks and crannies of our, schedules. When they were having a snooze, I could go and chat to somebody. And it was the flexibility that came with it. I could just fit it in here and there and have a social life. And then the personal professional development that started coming from that as well. So all of these things just started sort of lining up. And it got to the point where I was able to extend my maternity leave that little bit more. And this kept growing. And it was, what I was finding is that people who were using these products for 4 months were staying on them. They were becoming lifetime customers because they could feel a difference. And, I hear of, things where people will try it and that'll be it. But this company and these products, they are very unique and get amazing results, and people do become lifetime customers. So all of these things started happening and it was growing, and I was just, my passion grew, and it became so that, we started qualifying for incentive trips. My husband and I went to the Bahamas, all expenses paid, 5 stars, and it was like, oh my goodness. And my husband was like, this is really like how they treat us, like we were being spoiled royalty. And it just continued, all of this just continued. And I love it. I'm just got so much passion for this, and seeing so many others now achieving this and being able to help people to do this and help other mums in particular find something that enables them to stay home with their families, but also have something just for them and have that professional development that comes with it, working on yourself. So there's not many jobs where you can focus on your health and yourself and then have fun at the same time with a whole team of people. So it all just aligned beautifully for me. And for the team, we just have so much fun.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so much better to do it with a group of people that you love spending time with and that you enjoy. So it makes me think of something that Taylor Worry said a little while ago when he said he loves it that he's become a hope broker, because you offer so much hope to so many people. So it's not really about even the business, it's about these amazing products. And then if you do align the business with the products, then it offers so much hope for so many families. So I think he's got that one spot on.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
So what dreams and hopes are you focusing on at the moment? What little things are you hoping to achieve, and what are you doing to set that forth?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I've got a beautiful team that I love working alongside. And, for me, seeing them reach their goals and create, that leveraged income where they can stay home with their families more so, or, even just have that little bit of extra money each week to or each month or each week, we pay both, but, having that little bit of extra money just to go for a little extra holiday with the kids, or put it aside to, get those few extra things that they might want, their little bucket list of items, So helping my team to really achieve their goals is always a big one. Of course, for me, this year I actually resigned from my principal position. So it was a really big decision to make. But this has been business that has given me that option to do so. So I would love to see this continuing to grow and to be able to show others that possibility of doing the same thing as well and finding something that aligns for them.
That's fantastic. It's so great to hear, and so inspirational for so many other people that this can really happen. This can be done. So congratulations to you, Gillian. May I ask, have you done, prior to this, have you done any other direct marketing or sales or do you have experience in this?
No, I am the perfect example that you can come into this and not know a thing and still have success. So I have had zero experience in network marketing. In fact, I had no idea how many companies were out there. I knew of Tupperware because I have Tupperware in my cupboard. I knew of Enyo because I clean with Enyo, and I have a Thermomix. So I knew of Thermomix, but all three of those were party plan type things. And that's exactly what my idea of network marketing was. You had to spend your weekends going and doing presentations and cooking for someone or cleaning for someone. And those are not things that I wanted to add to my list. and I just thought, and you got a little bit of pocket money, and it was a once-off sale, and that was it. So I was very uneducated in this industry. I had no idea about residual income or leveraged income. And it was only through this that I realized that, this is something that people want to use on a monthly basis and continue to order. And it created this residual income that just continued to grow. And I could step out. So just recently we decided we'd head away for the Easter holidays. We packed up the camper trailer. We took off right up north. We went off the grid for 7 days of that camping trip, where we didn't even have phone reception. But I came back and I had people, like, my business was still growing. I still got my paycheck that month, all this, because it's all there and set up and in place. And so, it truly is that leveraged income power that can come from this sort of an industry. And, and it's something that you would be using anyway. So if this was still on a nutrition store shelf where people didn't know what NRF2 or oxidative stress was, but you would still be taking it if you knew what it was. You would still go there and buy that. So when it's this way, it's word of mouth. It's people going from living room to living room or computer to computer these days, sharing why they love it, their own stories and successes, and then, creating that business from that. It's just incredible, but it's helping so many people.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I do love the idea that you can, have your own hours, you can decide what works best for your family. And, so many people in the LiveVantage family are first timers that have never done this before. I laugh every time. It's because it's the products that speak for themselves, and then people can't help sharing it. And then they kind of discover the business just because the products are so amazing.
I found that an interesting statistic to see so many people starting out as customers first. And, we do encourage that. Use the products, try them for yourself. And then, you can upgrade later if you choose to. If you can think of friends and family that need to hear this information, it's simple to do so.
Yeah, the passion and the power of sharing and caring about your loved ones, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So can I ask, what do you think about the LiveVantage family and the community and the people you spend your time with? Can you tell us a little bit more about us, them?
So, look, that's probably been one of the biggest benefits of it all. So not only do we get these incredible products, not only do we get the opportunity to share it with those that we love and care about, but we also get to be surrounded by a beautiful team of people who support and lift you up. So this is an industry which is very unique in that you will only ever do as well as, you know, the energy that you put into others. So, you know, it has this environment where everyone is just supportive. And even if you're not in the same team, what I have found with Life Vantage is that people will come here for that family atmosphere. You know, speaking with all of you tonight, I actually come from a completely different team. And that's okay, because we all work together in Life Vantage. And, you know, there's been so many times where I've been able to call out to people from the Life Vantage family, we call it, all across the globe, and everyone's quick to support each other. It's an industry where it's a company where there are a lot of first-time network marketers as well. Everyone that I have found that partners with Life Vantage are here because of what we have, product and that family atmosphere. It's a beautiful environment to be a part of.
It is very unique. And when you speak sometimes with people in different areas, you find that it is quite unique to Life Vantage, the kind of culture we have. I think there's so many people-centered, focused people that want to just love and care for other people, that it's become this beautiful family that so many people fall in love with.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if someone were to think, I want to have a look at this, but I'm not sure what kind of support will I be getting along the way, are there systems in place for people to know, do A, B, and C?
Absolutely. So our company itself has an incredible system. We like to keep things very simple. And so there are tools in place, there's systems in place. We've got our own app that you can build your whole business from your hand with your phone. The app is very simple to use. It's got all of our tools in there. And then as a company, we all follow the same system when it comes to sharing this opportunity with others. And it's a very simple and duplicatable system. So yeah, it's, you know, ask the person who invited you on this evening to show you how simple it is. They can show you in the palm of their hand in a few minutes. It's a very simple system.
Oh, I love that. And it does make it so much easier having that app and having those structures in place, because you know what's your next step. You're getting prompted, and it really helps you to move forward with the actions that you take every day.
Absolutely. And not to mention, we get our own virtual assistants that'll send us a little message each morning and say, how about you try this today?
That's amazing.
So that one is, I love that. I get my little message each morning. Hey, Gillian, check out these opportunities for growth. And they'll send you a few ideas. So it's fantastic.
It is. It's been quite amazing getting used to Amy's little text that she sends each and every day.
Yes.
So Gillian, our time has almost run out, and it's been a lovely time speaking with you, and thank you so much for sharing your story. The last question that I would love to ask you is, if someone is thinking about this opportunity, they're not quite sure how they will achieve it, is it worthwhile? Would you recommend it? What would you say to them if they have a dream and they really want to pursue it?
Absolutely. Look, I couldn't speak more highly of this opportunity. When it comes to what we have, if you can see what we have with this product, and if you're using it yourself and you love it, then you can't keep this secret to yourself. I instantly just had this feeling, I need to make sure people like my mum needed to know about this straight away. My sisters, they needed to know about this. And I hate to think what would happen if I didn't share it with them now, because like I said, those first few people I shared with, they had some very significant results. And to this day, they wouldn't miss a day of taking these products. So if you are sitting here and you know you've got this information, you know people who could benefit from it, then just share. You know, we've got an incredible customer referral program as well. So, you know, you can even start that way, just by sharing with a few people and benefiting from that. But once you start sharing with a few people and you start to hear those results for yourself from them, you won't be able to help but go on and share more. And, you know, and don't be afraid to dream a little bit as well. Like, this is an opportunity that has that business side of things attached to it, where you can be fulfilling so many lifelong dreams. So yes, definitely give it a go.
I love that. Thank you so much, Gillian. Thank you for your time and
Thank you.
encouraging us tonight. And we wish you all the best for the future. Can't wait to hang out with you again, hopefully when we can have, way more contact and get to share that. But thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you so much, Marna, for having me.
No, big pleasure. And thank you everyone else for joining us tonight and listening to Gillian's beautiful story. So as we've said, if you love what you're hearing, go back to the person who invited you tonight. And if you're listening in on the Facebook group, go back to the person who invited you to the group. We wish you the best of night and thank you for joining us. Good night.